We are at Empower Field at Mile High, the home of the Denver Broncos, who today will host the Philadelphia Eagles. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Denver. Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, A.J. Ross will be with us on the sidelines. This should be a very interesting interconference game. The Eagles came up just short of the Chargers last week. The Denver Broncos have been on a roller coaster ride of a season.
Well, Greg, I think this is going to be a great matchup. And for the Denver Broncos, coming off a dominant win last week against the Cowboys, great balance on offense, and the defense smothered Dak Prescott. Tough loss for the Eagles, but there was a silver lining in that game. For the second game, it was a run-centered attack. They think that's the magic formula, and I'm looking forward to see if it does work against the Bronco defense.
Let's start with the Denver Broncos and eighth-year quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, who is completing 70% of his passes.
Well, it was a typical Teddy Bridgewater game last week. 248 yards, as efficient as always, dissected that Dallas defense, and he took care of the football. No interceptions, and as per usual, was excellent in the pocket, making some beautiful throws downfield.
How important for the Eagles is second-year quarterback Jalen Hurts? For starters, he's Philly's leading rusher.
Well, it's a different look to this offense, and for the second straight week, less than 20 passing attempts for Jalen Hurts. Now, the 11 passes for 168 yards don't jump off the page, but he was excellent in the fourth quarter last week and put the Eagles in position to win that game.
The Philadelphia Eagles are at 3-6 in the NFC East. Dallas, the only team there above 500. Meanwhile, in the AFC West, everybody above 500. That includes the Broncos, who are 5-4. The Denver Broncos have won the toss. They have deferred, which means that the Eagles, the visiting Philadelphia Eagles, will get their hands on the football to start things off. We are glad you've joined us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon in Denver, Colorado. Feisty crowd. Deep for the kick that will not be returnable. It'll go through into the end zone for the touchback, and we go down to A.J. Ross.
Greg, for the second week in a row, COVID has forced the Broncos to call a last-minute audible just before game time. Offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur tested positive for COVID on Friday and will not be on the sidelines today. Instead, quarterbacks coach Mike Shula will be calling the plays. Shula has previously served as an offensive coordinator for 3 different teams throughout his 27-year NFL career, including calling plays for the Panthers in Super Bowl 50, not to mention his Hall of Fame father, the late Don Shula. I think he knows a thing or two about football.
Yeah, he might. Thanks, A.J. Jalen Hurts at quarterback for the Eagles. 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. And they get underway from the 25-yard line. Around the right side, Hurts with the football and out of bounds at first down yardage at about the 35. That is what he does, and he does so well. He has rushed for 5 touchdowns this season.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good answer when I asked Vic Fangio about the Eagles' offensive in their running game in the past game. I said, it's not very fancy. It's right up the middle, right behind the center and guard. And he said, well, when Jalen Hurts pulls the ball, that makes it real fancy.
Straight up the middle and a huge hole for Boston Scott across midfield to about the 48-yard line of the Broncos.
Well, just a terrific, tremendous block inside by Kelsey in the right guard. A gaping hole right down the pipe, and there is no Denver linebacker in sight to tackle Boston Scott.
Another first down for the Eagles. And this handoff will go nowhere. Kyle Fuller making the defensive stop. The Eagles' offensive line anchored, as you mentioned, 4-time Pro Bowl center Jason Kelsey. He's a good one.
Well, and outside, I'm really looking forward to watching Devontae Smith, who really seems to have found himself a little bit. And last week, 5 catches, all of them over 15 yards. I would love to see Hurts target him at least 10 times in this game.
Loss of 2 makes it 2nd and 12. Once again, Scott, the running back, alongside Hurts. Hurts. A little flip to this side. It is complete. 45, 40, 35-yard line goes Scott. And that'll be another Philadelphia first down. Kareem Jackson with the tackle.
Nobody's home. Broncos are going to blitz up inside the rookie Browning, and that means there's only one linebacker and one second layer of support, and that's Kenny Young. And when there's 2 or 3 offensive linemen with one defender, you can't make that play.
The run up the middle, and this one will get back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. The Broncos in 3-4 defense. Jones, Purcell, and Harris across the front. How about those linebackers, Arch?
Well, the linebacker group, both inside and outside, a lot of changes this year. Kenny Young, really in just 2 games as a Bronco, has jump-started that linebacker crew, and I think they're really looking forward to getting Malik Reed back. He's their sack leader. He missed last week, but he's going to have a big game on the edge containing Jalen Hurts.
Jordan Howard, the lone back on 2nd and 10. Hurts rolls, looks, throws, and he's got his man inside the 20-yard line. That is complete to Quez Watkins, the second-year wideout from Southern Miss. That's another first down for the Eagles, and they're chalking them up early.
Well, how about Quez Watkins? And Devontae Smith gets a lot of attention for being a tremendous rookie, but Quez Watkins has been consistently making some big plays and big catches. It's a nice crossing route right there.
On first down, quick pass to the near side. And trying to turn the corner and doing it inside the 15-yard line is Watkins again.
What a drive right now. And you see what the receivers did last week. Jalen Hurts threw the ball 17 times. He completed 11 of those passes. You see how big of a game Devontae Smith had. I'm sure they'd like to spread it around a little bit more. Quez Watkins already with 2 touches here in this game.
From the 13-yard line, 2nd and 7. Howard again, and Howard maybe a yard to about the 12. It'll be 3rd down. Kyle Fuller again on the stop. Fuller starting at corner. Pat Surtain had a knee injury, is dressed for this game, but Fuller is getting the nod in the starting lineup.
Well, in the red zone in 3rd down, number 1, you've got to worry about Jalen Hurts. He by far is the Eagles' most dangerous threat, and this is really inside the 15-yard line where he does his best work.
3rd and 6. They need the 6-yard line for a first down. Hurts on the move and throwing to the end zone. Incomplete. So a fine-looking drive by the Eagles offense stalls, and the field goal unit will come on the field.
Well-timed blitz by Vic Fangio. The Eagles are going to go empty formation. There is nobody in the backfield. Jalen Hurts, he doesn't have time to set up in the pocket. He tries to escape, but Denver defense down the field, great coverage, and nowhere to throw the football.
This will be a 30-yard attempt by Jake Elliott. That kick is good, and for the first time since Denver lost at Cleveland back in Week 7, the Broncos trail in a football game. Eagles 3-0. We're coming back after this. An impressive opening drive by the Philadelphia Eagles. 63 yards in 10 plays. They racked up one first down after another in under 5 minutes.
That was a lightning fast drive. I felt like I didn't even have a chance to catch up. But Jalen Hurts, really a strong start. 3 of 4 passing. The running game was really good, but credit that strong red zone defense for the Broncos in forcing the field goal.
Deontay Spencer will not return this one. This one goes completely through the end zone, and Denver will start at its own 25-yard line. Here's Teddy Bridgewater. 14 touchdown passes against 5 interceptions. Mentioned earlier, he completes 70% of his throws. He is what you call very efficient.
And is he relaxed or what? This is really the first time I've had a chance to talk to Bridgewater in a meeting, and you hear so much about his character and his leadership qualities. you know, when you get a chance to talk to him, he is impressive and had a terrific game last week.
Melvin Gordon gets the first handoff. Just across the 25-yard line, T.J. Edwards making the stop. An offensive line in front of Bridgewater we have to watch closely today, Archie.
And I think really this is one of the big keys to this game is how the offensive line plays. I really felt like they did a great job last week, but today you've got three backups. Both of your tackles, Calvin Anderson for the second time for Garrett Bowles on the left side, and Cameron Fleming is starting for Bobby Massey. And you got a rookie right guard in Quinn Miners.
And a couple of very productive running backs. You've seen Gordon on 2nd and 9. Bridgewater, with time, completes it to the near side, and that one falls incomplete. Gordon had it, couldn't hold it. The Eagles, 4-3 defense, led up front by Javon Hargrave.
Well, just as I think the offensive line for Denver is the key, to me in this game, it's the Eagles up front. They were almost silent last week against the Chargers. Hargrave is their best player up front. He's the most disruptive up front. He's been quiet for a couple games. This is a game where they're going to have to go off against this really inexperienced offensive line.
3rd and 9. Bridgewater under pressure, got rid of it to the near side. That's going nowhere. Gordon pulls on here, but right on top of him is cornerback Darius Slay.
Well, Jonathan Gannon, the Eagles defensive coordinator, really has to be pleased with that drive. You know, how many times have you heard all week, all season about the secondary and their inability to get stops in the passing game, the high completion percentage that they are giving up. But right there, just like their offense, a really incredible start here by the Eagles.
Sam Martin to kick it away from Denver. Reagan follows this one over to the sideline, and it bounces out of bounds. We'll see where they mark that, but wherever they mark it, that's where the Eagles will get their second offensive drive underway when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Get great deals on pizza, bread twists, chicken, desserts, and more. Ghostbusters Afterlife, in theaters November 19th. And by AT&T 5G, fast, reliable, and secure.
Well, the ski resorts just west of here received a fresh coat of snow this past week, provided some ideal conditions for skiers of all ages. And speaking of skiers, great Lindsey Vonn on hand today. You're a skier, Arch. Would you stick around a couple days and hit the slopes?
I'm a snowboarder. You got to get your...
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing, but I can't wait to get back on the slopes.
First down from the 20-yard line, and this is Boston Scott for about 3, maybe 4 yards. Jonathan Cooper with the stop.
Well, you see Boston Scott, he's getting quite the opportunity here in this game. You know, really didn't play that much when Miles Sanders was here, but once Miles Sanders got hurt and they kind of turned into this new look offense, he has been getting the ball more and more. And look, he's a smaller guy, but he is not afraid to run up inside with those tough yards.
2nd and 6. Hurts under pressure at the throw, and it is close on the far sideline. Nice grab by Dallas Goedert.
Oh, really, really nice. Hurts, he is under tremendous pressure by Fuller, and Goddard is just able to get that separation. You know, Jalen Hurts is under pressure a lot. He avoids getting hit. Doesn't have the most or the best completion percentage, but he has made a lot of big-time throws under pressure, and that was a big one to put them in 3rd and short.
Crowd comes alive for the Denver defense. Play clock is down to 6 and 5 and counting, and Hurts has to hurry if he wants to get this play off, and they call a timeout. So Philadelphia uses its first time out here in the first half, and these Eagles will not be afraid to run the football. Last week against the Chargers, 39 rushes for 176 yards.
Yeah, and they made a shift in their philosophy. And coming into this season, they kind of had an idea of who they wanted to be. They wanted to be a 3 wide receiver football team. They really felt that, being in the spread game really suited what Jalen Hurts did well. And Nick Sirianni said what worked in training camp in a 12-play period really didn't equate to what was happening in the season. But since they've kind of gone to this style, it's taken some pressure off of Hurts, and he has excelled using the play action off of it.
On 3rd and 2, this is Howard, and Howard has the first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. It's interesting that both from Nick Sirianni and from Jalen Hurts, these are 2 guys, the head coach and the quarterback, are still trying to figure out what's best for the team and what's best for each other.
It is, and you think about where Nick Sirianni came from. He comes from Indianapolis, and he has extensive experience working with a guy like Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers and Jalen Hurts could not be any more opposite as far as the way they operate. Of course, one of the least mobile quarterbacks to going to the most mobile quarterback who scrambles the most. So, yes, it has been an adjustment period, but they're starting to figure some things out.
Here's an end around. He's looking for running room as Rager and not finding it as Rager. Get on, AJ.
Well, Greg and Archer, you talk about Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts getting to know each other better. I asked Nick, what has Jalen taught you? And he said it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, especially when these plays break down and Jalen is able to make something out of nothing. As a coach, you always want things to be perfect, but Jalen has taught him to think of things in a different way. And they have Friday meetings. They've gotten to know each other in different ways as far as their mutual interests in music and being coaches' sons. So they're really enjoying this time together.
Yeah, it's interesting to see who's teaching who as the learning curve moves on. It's now 2nd and 18. Hurts to the near sideline, and that is complete. That's Watkins, and Watkins bumped out of bounds right around the 30. Update time. Let's get you back to the NFL Today in New York. JB and Coach Bill Cowher.
Steelers in OT trying to get the field goal range.
Yeah, overtime. Pat Frommuth is going to get hit by Will Harris, recovered by Trey Flowers. That would have set up a potential 56-yard field goal by Chris Boswell, which he has made in the past. The game ends in a 16-16 tie.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. Steelers in a tie minus Ben Roethlisberger today. Here's a 3rd and 11 for Philadelphia. Hurts dodging, throwing over the middle, and he's got his man across midfield and into Denver territory as Dallas Goedert hit hard and went down at about the 47-yard line. Justin Simmons.
Well, really starts with good protection. Excuse me, Greg. Really nice protection. Broncos are going to come with the blitz. It's picked up, and Hurts, instead of taking off and running, did you see that? Instead of just doing what his instinct tells him to do, he just slides to the left, and he hits Goddard crossing the formation with a huge throw on 3rd down. That was an excellent play all the way around for the Eagles.
Dallas Goedert, one of the leading receivers among tight ends in the NFL. Number 3 starting this week.
And he is off the field and
in the tent.
Going into the tent, but he is, with the trade of Zach Ertz, he is really getting a chance to shine and be the feature here for the first time in his career.
Hurts with plenty of time on the play clock. From the 47, the give is to Howard, and Howard off the left side to about the 40.
Well, Greg, it'll be really interesting for me because when you look at this new Eagles offense as they kind of huddle up at the line of scrimmage, they are really heavy, especially with Jordan Howard in the inside running game. And that just happens to be the strength of the Denver Broncos. And so can the Eagles run up inside, or will they have to resort to hitting the Broncos more on the edge where teams have had success?
We get an injury timeout on the field. One of the Broncos on one knee. We'll check on that and come right back. Welcome back to Empower Field at Mile High, where the Philadelphia Eagles have dominated the early part of this game as Aaron Browning off the field and into the blue tent. How dominant? Philadelphia with 103 total yards to -1 for Denver. 2nd and 3. first down inside the 40 to about the 37, close to the 36-yard line, but enough for a first down for the Eagles.
Well, Greg, one thing that I was really interested to watch coming into this game is to see which quarterback we were going to see, which version of Jalen Hurts. And I've got to say, so far, you've got to really like what you've seen. 6 of 7, 71 yards, and has really had a terrific start to this quarter.
Hurts looking, going deep, down far sideline. It is to the end zone and caught by Devontae Smith for the touchdown.
Oh my, and this, what a matchup, rookie against rookie. They're just going to go downtown. The coverage was excellent by Surtain. And look at Smith. Did he come down in bounds? Really, really nice position by Surtain. Doesn't get any better than that. And then Smith just goes up and wins the battle.
Let's see if he gets 2 feet down before he falls. Let's see. There's one.
Yep, he gets the butt down. He gets the one leg in the butt. Oh, just incredible. And that's really the first time that Surtain has given up a go ball this season.
36 yards as they wait for confirmation. If it stands, that's Devontae Smith's 3rd TD catch of the season.
Oh, that was such a big-time play. And they went after the one guy who doesn't give up the fade route in Surtain. He's been attacked 9 times.
That's how the play ended. They are taking a look at it on review with 3:16 to play in the first quarter. We'll take a break.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Grey Goose Vodka, Vive Les Martini, and by USAA Insurance, committed to the military community.
Welcome back, everyone. While we were away, the touchdown catch was confirmed. Devontae Smith landed inbounds, and now the extra point attempt by the Eagles to make it a 10-point lead. And we get a whistle and a penalty flag. Sean Hockley is our referee today.
Illegal snap infraction by the offense, number 45. This is a 5-yard penalty. It's still the try.
So the Eagles will back it up 5 yards and do it again. Boy, what a start by the Philadelphia Eagles today.
And I can't get over that catch. I mean, those are 2 of the bright young rookie stars going at it. And that guy right there, just brilliant on the sideline.
Here's Elliott. And that kick is good. So 3:16 to play. Here in the first quarter, 10-0 Eagles. We're back in half a minute after this from Progressive Insurance.
Progressive presents At Home with Baker Mayfield.
Really appreciate you stepping into house sit. Everything should be pretty straightforward. Here's the keys. Let me show you inside. So each heater's on its own power grid, so you're just gonna have to throw the breakers each night. Tuesday's trash day. Just pull the dumpsters out the night before. Do you like dogs?
There are dogs?
There's a whole section of them. If you're gonna leave, remember to set the alarm. The code? 6.
Just 6?
While we were away, we were in touch with our rules guru, Gene Steratore, and having an intimate conversation about body parts. Explain that catch, Gene.
You know, it is in Adam, who has gotten much better objectively at officiating, mentioned that left cheek equals 2 feet. He's absolutely correct. And also Devontae Smith going to the ground on this play has to survive the ground, and the ball does not move. So impressed with the catch and impressed with now Adam's ability to be objective as far as officiating goes is great, Greg.
That's like Adam almost went to med school or something.
Gene, I feel complete now that I finally, after all this time, this is somebody get this on tape because this is an important moment in our relationship.
Gino,
we're just beginning, Adam. We're only beginning.
Thank you, Gene. Boy, this is unusual. Denver, last 2 games, the first half outscored their opponents 26-3. Today, they're down 10-0. They're 0-25. This is Jerry Jeudy, and Jeudy brought down at about the 27-yard line, maybe the 28.
Well, one thing that Teddy Bridgewater talked about last week, if you go back to that Dallas game, they didn't really have a good first drive. And he said, even though it didn't go our way, we came off the field really confident and we felt really good about what they were showing us on defense. Of course, he was proven right because they were sensational the rest of the game. But right now they are staring at a 10-point deficit, and the Eagles have to be fired up with the way they've started.
This is the rookie Javonte Williams. Williams turning the corner on the outside. You've been saying all weekend long, Adam, that's what Javonte Williams loves to do.
Well, he is going to hit the edge. If there is any semblance that the outside is going to be open, you can bet that Williams is going to go out there and he's just going to hit it. And what a nice job by the rookie, the right guard, Quinn Miners. He comes all the way around the edge, seals the linebacker. And Williams is off to the races for another explosive run to add to his season.
On first down, and we get penalty flags.
False start by the offensive quarterback, number 15. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
So that charge goes against Teddy Bridgewater. This is what we were talking about, how the Broncos have gotten off to great starts the last 2 games, not so much today.
Well, they didn't account for Jalen Hurts having the red-hot start. I've got to tell you, this is as good as I've seen him play. He's been almost perfect so far this game.
Now on 1st and 15, and this is Williams, and Williams looking for the edge on the near side of the field and across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. It's one thing to be predictable, but can you stop it?
And it doesn't matter. This time, T.J. Edwards, he's outside. He gets hung up on a block. And that's what I'm saying. Even if the defensive player has leverage, meaning he's in his gap, if Williams sees any chance, he's going to take it, and he has the speed to get outside.
Keep it on the ground again, and this time across the 45. Javon Hargrave makes the stop. So it'll be 3rd down.
And this running game is just really one heck of a combination between Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. Really doesn't give you any break on the defensive side of the ball. But they have 2 distinct styles. And 3rd down, as we mentioned, their last drive, this is where the Eagles have to be able to make a play. And they've got to be tighter in their coverage.
Bridgewater. That's complete. Across midfield to the 48-yard line, Tim Patrick makes the catch. And that's a first down for Denver. And there's a late flag.
Well, Patrick, they're playing man-to-man coverage, and I want to say that's Maddox who is covering Patrick, and he's expecting help from the linebacker. It's like,
I'm guessing they're talking taunting.
That's probably a pretty good guess. I think the odds might be in your favor, but you know, Maddox is expecting help inside on that shallow crossing route. He didn't get it. And Tim Patrick, his clutch factor is just off the charts this season.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, defense number 29. Number 29's first of that type for potential disqualification. This 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. It's first down.
Now, you and I differ a little bit on this rule and on these calls because you lean more towards the emotional part of the game, and I can understand that, but there's such a thing about being smart about the game.
Yeah, grown men like to talk trash. I don't know what else to say about it, and we've seen some good calls, and we've seen some maybe not so good calls.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 93. This is a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So Milton Williams jumped on the defensive side of the ball, and it's now 1st and 5. 26 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
They've got the option route. Bridgewater has the option route to his right. To Jerry Jeudy.
Bridgewater throwing near side. Oh, look at that move. Jerry Jeudy, known for the way he can dance around defenders, and he goes all the way to, let's see where they mark him down. They'll have to figure out forward progress. Looks to be just inside the 20-yard line. But we have come to the end of the first quarter. Entertaining first quarter it is. 10-0 Eagles. Broncos on the march. We're back to Denver, Colorado after this. Look at Vic Fangio now in his 3rd season as the head coach here in Denver. By anyone's account, pretty good defensive mind. Here's Melvin Gordon. Gordon dancing through the middle, still on his feet. Inside the 10-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal.
Get both linebackers, they're going to fast flow to the left, and then Gordon is just going to be patient with it, and he's going to hit the cutback to the right. I mean, just an excellent job up inside. You see the little swim move, and they've got 2 really good, tough runners. Melvin Gordon almost exclusively is going to commit to that inside, and he has just been terrific.
Gordon in the backfield on 1st and goal. Gordon again, this time breaking to the outside, trying to turn the corner, looking for the end zone, and goes out of bounds just shy of the goal line. Darius Slay forced him out.
Well, last week, Broncos on the edge, their wide receivers and their tight end just had a nice day blocking, and that time you see Tim Patrick. He's on the edge, and he's going to come down and crack on Anthony Harris. And once they see that, nobody's able to get over the top, and now Gordon is able to hit the edge. They do such a good job in the red zone of utilizing their running backs, both Williams and Melvin Gordon, with some tough running. And you know that this is where Noah Fant really likes to show up.
Melvin Gordon, the deep back on 2nd and goal. Gordon straight ahead for the touchdown. Melvin Gordon, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, behind some fine blocking up front.
Well, here you go. You've got TJ Edwards. He's responsible for that B gap. And then what happens up front is Fletcher Cox, he's not able to stay in his A gap. And really a nice block up front by the rookie right guard, Quinn Miners. One-on-one with Fletcher Cox. Digs him out of that hole, and there's nobody to stop the Denver running game.
The extra point is up, and it is good. 13:38 to play. Here in the first half, Gordon's touchdown gets the Broncos on the board. They trail by 3, 10-7. We're coming back after this. That rushing attack the Denver Broncos love so much. You see the 2 principals there, 25 Melvin Gordon, 33 Javonte Williams. They've already combined to rush for 47 yards.
Yeah, and they're coming off a season high last week, 191 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. Got to be impressed not only with them, but that Broncos offensive line that I mentioned, playing with 3 backups. The Eagles have to play a lot better up front.
Hey, tonight you are invited to the concert of a lifetime with Adele, including an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey. Adele, one night only tonight on CBS.
Well, here's the question for Vic Fangio. He has to figure out a way to stop Jalen Hurts. And really, it's not because of his scrambling ability. It's because of what he's been able to do throwing the football.
crowd making itself known here. First down from the 25-yard line. Hurts with the football, trying to get around a man, and it's out of bounds. Looks like he'll be at about the 27-yard line. We go down to AJ.
Greg, Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert made a huge first down catch over the middle on the Eagles' last scoring drive, then headed to the sideline. He was taken to the locker room to be evaluated for a head injury, and I just learned he is out for this game. Not to mention a couple plays later, Broncos inside linebacker Baron Browning, he went down with a back injury. I'm told he's questionable. This is a really big loss with this position group already short, guys.
It is big. Thank you, AJ. Dallas Goedert, an outstanding target. Not available for the rest of this game to the Eagles. On 2nd and 8. Hurts escapes one tackler and knocked out of bounds by Jonathan Cooper. They'll mark him out at about the 37-yard line. No, short of that. Let's see where they put the ball down.
You know, I'm sure Shelby Harris, Greg, probably was a little surprised that nobody went up there and blocked him. He gets in the backfield, and you see that is really tough for a defensive lineman to try and take down Hurts in space. And here's another 3rd and short where the Eagles have been really good. And here's a question for Vic Fangio. Whatever defense you design, it has to keep in mind the running ability and the scrambling ability of Hurts. And that means if you dedicate somebody for him, then there's not going to be help for anybody else.
Hurts going to throw it. Got hit. The ball is out and covered at about the 26-yard line. Hurts hit just as he tried to throw it.
I believe, Greg, that was Draymond Jones, number 93, just with a great effort up front inside. He is just working hard, and watch him go to swat it. Or did that ball just fly out of him?
Like it just slipped.
Yeah, I thought Jones, quite honestly, was the guy that got it out. It looked like that live, but it seems like maybe the ball just kind of slipped out of Hurts' hand. But nonetheless, a huge stop for Vic Fangio's defense.
Deontay Spencer from his own 21. Oh, it hit hard from the side at about the 27 or the 28-yard line by Sean Bradley. We'll take a break. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the game snapshot presented by Progressive Insurance. We have seen some good football so far. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith up high for the catch and inbounds for the touchdown. The Denver Broncos came right back, however, with a nice drive. Melvin Gordon into the end zone, and that's how we stand here 10-7 with the added field goal for the Philadelphia Eagles. So here are the Broncos at the 28-yard line. Bridgewater over the middle, right on the money, midfield, 40, 30, 20, and bumped out of bounds inside the 10. Number 85, Albert Okoye-Gunam.
Well, I love Bridgewater's eyes. He's going to look off to the right, and then he's just going to fire it, and that is intentional. He knows right now that, and this is what he does so good, why he is so accurate underneath. He knows that he's seeing zone coverage, so he's going to manipulate those linebackers, get them to move one way, and then throw a strike inside to his tight end. That was really well done.
64 yards. This is Javonte Williams, and we have a penalty marker down. Williams marked down at the 3. But let's check with Sean Hockley. Lots of Eagles pointing in the direction of the Broncos, as teams are sometimes wont to do.
Offside. Defense number 96. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
So Derek Barnett is guilty of the offside. And teams are sometimes wrong as they're pointing.
Well, it was a good start for Philadelphia's defense, but, you know, really where they're having a hard time in this game, and really kind of been like this all season, is at linebacker, both the run game and the pass game.
Bridgewater rolling, throwing, and hit Jerry Jeudy, and Jeudy could not hold on. And that pass is incomplete.
Well, I can certainly see that, Mike Shula wants to get a little creative down inside the 5-yard line, but I feel at this point your running game and inside you are doing so well, it'd probably be a good idea to go back. This time it looks like to Williams.
Devontae Williams here and fighting his way to about the 3-yard line. Davion Taylor, first one to make contact. So it'll be 3rd and goal. For these Broncos, earlier, Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator, not available. COVID protocols and procedures. And Mike Shula, quarterback's coach, calling the offense. 3rd and goal. Williams in the backfield with Bridgewater. Bridgewater lofting it this side of the field, and it is incomplete. Intended for Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick thinks that he got his feet down, but I don't believe he did. Just right there on the edge, and catch, and the left foot is just, what a great job of dragging the right foot.
Hey, he was right about the right foot.
He sure was. That's what he felt in his mind. He's like, wait a minute, I dragged the foot, I dragged the toe. But you can clearly see just a couple inches.
And the official said, no cheek on this play.
Oh, boy. Tim Patrick has had some sort of season in the big moments.
Brandon McManus with the field goal from 21 yards, and that is good, and we are all tied up at 10 apiece. 9:39 to play. Here in the first half, we're coming back to Denver in just a moment. Well, after getting off to a not-so-good start on their first drive, the Denver Broncos have put 125 yards with a touchdown and a field goal on their next 2.
In 2 different ways. The first drive, it was that running combination, and then just the big play.
Defense, a different story, though.
Yeah.
They allow a season-high 143 total yards to the Eagles in the first quarter. This will go through the end zone for the touchback, and the Eagles will start on the 25-yard line. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts.
Oh, you got to love it. 7 of 8, 107. Starts it out, a little roll to the right, and then hits just at the last second Quez Watkins. This time he's going to slide to the left and hit Dallas Goedert on the crosser, and then this one, you're not going to see very many catches. Better than this one on the sideline. Devontae Smith, the phenomenal rookie wide receiver, going over Surtain for just a terrific touchdown.
Hurts looking, throwing on the sideline, and throws it away. That's incomplete. Here's the thing that Vic Fangio has to deal with, Arch. You get prepared for Jalen Hurts and the way he can run with the football, and Hurts comes out accurate, all get out, throwing the football.
And to me, coming into this game, I was curious, would Vic Fangio blitz? Because one of the comparable games would be what they did against Baltimore. They blitzed Lamar Jackson 27 times. Now, they're different quarterbacks, but still, their mobility is an issue. And so how aggressive are you going to be against Jalen Hurts? And so far in this game, it's been about 50-50. He's blitzed him on 4 of his 8 dropbacks.
2nd and 10. This is Howard. And Howard breaking free. Out to about the 35. That looks like it'll be enough for a first down. Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons combining for the tackle.
And this time they blitz Kyle Fuller off of the edge, and he just can't get there, and Jordan Howard's just going to break that arm tackle. He has been a really nice boost to this running offense and has really started to become the feature.
Hurts can pull it down and run. And will he run? Midfield, 40, 35, to about the 33-yard line before Justin Simmons drags him down. That's a 32-yard run by Hurts.
And initially, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You've got somebody open here on the flat. He had Howard wide open in the flat, and I thought, oh, for sure, just give it to Howard. I thought he missed it, and then he goes ahead and does this. So when you get into man coverage and you're not disciplined in your rushing lanes, I think the scouting report tells you that Hurts is going to take that all day long.
155 total yards put up so far by Hurts. This is Boston Scott. Let's go down to AJ.
Well, Greg, as you talk about Jalen Hurts and his propensity to run with the ball, when we asked him what he prefers, he says he prefers just winning. He would I'd rather throw the ball 1,000 times or run 1,000 times as long as it ends in a W. So clearly he's doing whatever it takes today to hopefully get in the W column after this one.
Yeah, AJ, and we were also very impressed with the very logical approach to his job that Jalen Hurts has in only his second season.
I loved his answer when you pointed out that he was their leading rusher. What did he say? He said, it's not the first time I've been the leading rusher.
Second and 10, that pass to the outside, that is complete. And this is Boston Scott. To about the 25. That's about a couple of yards short of a first down.
I think Vic Fangio is following that blueprint of what they did to the Ravens. That time, this one was an all-out blitz. Eagles had a really good play call out there. But once again, you've got to execute here on third down. And the big dilemma is, what do you do? Do you play man and risk Hurts running the football and breaking contain?
Scott in the backfield. Scott looks like he has the first down to the 22.
So here's what it does right here. Watch what happens with Cooper outside. He's going to wait for Hurts. He's playing Hurts. But then that means that he can't come down fast enough to get to Boston Scott. So that's what that threat does, especially on third down. It puts Cooper in a bind, and he just can't recover in time to stop it and force the field goal attempt.
First down, Eagles. And we get a whistle, and this time the Denver Broncos use their first timeout.
Timeout. Denver, their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Hurts, 14 carries and 108 yards scrambling on third down coming into this week.
Over 300 yards. He came into this game with 460 some yards rushing. Over 300 of his yards this season have come on scrambles and off schedule plays, and I thought it was fascinating when we asked Nick Sirianni just about his scrambling and off schedule, and he said that when they came into this season, the key stat was that Jalen Hurts on off schedule plays, 51% scrambles, by far most in the NFL.
First down from the 22. He'll keep it. Left side. Comes inside block and gets to about the 19, maybe the 18-yard line. As we wind our way down to 6 minutes to play, it's a whole new era for coaches who coach defense and have to deal with quarterbacks who not only can throw the ball fairly decently, but run the ball really well.
It is, and offensive coordinators are finally coming around and understanding how to use the talent that's coming out of college. I believe also that, throwing the football from the pocket is the best way to conduct a passing game, but there's no doubt it is frustrating to play an athletic quarterback.
This is Jordan Howard. Howard to about the 15. Jalen Hurts today has gone past the 2,000-yard mark passing and 500 rushing on the season. 33.
No Dallas Goedert, which was one of his favorites. Again, they are heavy rushing tendency on third down when they come third down and short. But in the passing game, and especially in the red zone, no Goedert, so somebody else is going to have to try and get open.
Hurts throwing over the middle. That's complete inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. is Quez Watkins. It'll be 1st and goal.
This is a really tough play. We know that Quez Watkins can fly. This is a really tough play for Darby, who's playing off and outside leverage to be able to chase Watkins across the formation.
Pass out to the outside is complete, and down at the 5-yard line is the tight end Jack Stoll, the rookie out of Nebraska. Eagles back to the line again in a hurry. Kenneth Gainwell is in the backfield for the first time today for Philadelphia.
His participation has been down in the last few weeks, but he also has been dangerous out of the backfield in the red area.
No option, the pitch to Gainwell, and Gainwell shakes a tackler and gets back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and goal, again from the 5.
Little speed option and good reaction from the linebacker Curtis Robinson, who has come in relief for Baron Browning, who left in that first quarter.
We're all tied at 10. Coming up on 3:15 to play here in the first half.
And you got strength against strength. Eagles red zone offense against Denver's red zone defense.
The pass to the end zone, touchdown! Devontae Smith once again on the receiving end.
Well, it appears that the Eagles just caught Denver in the perfect defense, and that's Fuller. He's playing outside. And Vic Fangio brings zero pressure. We've heard about zero pressure. That means there's no help. And when you come with that, you have got to protect the inside. It's almost impossible against that look to cover a crossing route, and Hurts reads it perfectly and delivers a strike.
Jake Elliott's extra point attempt is good. 3:07 to play. In an entertaining first half, the Eagles come back to grab the lead at 17-10. Told you about those pretty impressive numbers a few minutes ago. He is the 8th player, Jalen Hurts is. 2,000 passing yards, 500 rushing yards, first 10 games of the season.
It's been an up and down. You know, you never knew going into each game which version of Hurts you were going to see. I don't think we've ever seen this version. And if this is the version, then, oh boy, he has been exceptional.
A.J. Ross, what you got?
Well, Greg, I have the understatement of a lifetime in saying Bama is pretty good at football. And here's a picture of their 2017 team. If you can believe it, 49 of these guys made it to the NFL. So there's guys on both sidelines today. Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Hurts, just to name a few. And when I was asking them about their relationship continuing over at the pro level, of course, it's exciting to be able to play together, play against each other at this level. They still group text and all of that. And even Kareem Jackson, an elder statesman, if you will, said, it's all good until we're on the gridiron. We're not showing love until post-game.
That pass is incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. We did have fun talking about to the players, and then it's old home week. And of course, this isn't the only game. This is all over the league thanks to that football factory Coach Saban has.
It is, and boy, it just seems like every high-end receiver that comes out seems to come from Alabama. I don't know how they don't win the national championship every year, to be quite honest with you, with just the sheer talent that they have.
And whistle.
Ball start. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
That's Jerry Jeudy.
No, they must have had something deep called.
Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher will have scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
The Eagles were lined up in press coverage across the board. But they had something for Jeudy there. He was something excited.
So 2nd and 15 now for Bridgewater. That pass is complete and hit away was Judy and knocked back by Avante Maddox. We'll see where they mark his forward progress. It'll be close to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, see, that's what the Eagles have to have. They've got to have immediate contact in those short passes, and that has been the trend, that all the underneath stuff has been uncontested this year. And so the coverage has to be tighter. It has to be much more aggressive, and that was a great example.
3rd and 11 now. Four-man rush. Bridgewater under pressure, can't get away, and goes down at the 10. Big number 96, Derek Barnett.
Well, really nice inside, first of all, and then Barnett is going to come in and clean it up. But that's what the Eagles have to get up front. They have got to get pressure in the obvious passing situations. Really well done.
2-minute warning here in Denver. Philadelphia Eagles on the season averaged 27 minutes and 7 seconds. That's the second worst in the National Football League coming into this week. Today, almost 19 minutes of possession of the football already.
Well, things have, a lot of that was skewed by the first half of the season. It's been a different story since they started running the ball so well the last few minutes.
Jalen Reagor at the 30. We got a penalty marker down already. And he is buried at the 40-yard line. Leading the charge was Aaron Patrick. And let's check the flag. Sean Hockley getting his facts straight before he tells us. And here we go.
Personal foul by the receiving team. Number 27 went out of bounds and blocked an opponent. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. It's Philadelphia's ball, first down.
That penalty is on the rookie DB, Zach McPherson.
Vic Fangio has got to come up with a different recipe. So far, what I see in this game is, see at the bottom here, you can't go out of bounds. It happened well before that play, or well before that moment. But Denver is sticking to their personality on defense and playing a lot of man coverage, and where Philadelphia really has been able to exploit that, and not only have been able to beat the blitz, but also man coverage. And they've done that with crossing routes. So they've kind of got to figure out a little something different, especially on third down, because man coverage just hasn't seemed to work.
Against quarterbacks like Hurts and Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, I'm guessing one thing and one thing alone isn't going to work. You're going to have to mix your stuff up a lot. Keep guessing.
That would be a pretty good idea. Now, look, they kind of stuck to their formula last week against Dak Prescott. Now, he doesn't run as much as the guys that you just mentioned, but they really kind of stuck to a four-man rush, and it was working last week, but they might have to make some adjustments here against Hurts.
This is Gainwell. Gainwell, left side, to about the 20. Caden Stearns makes the tackle. It'll be second down. Clock continues to move toward a minute and a half to play in the first half.
Yeah, really nice job by Caden Stearns outside, and he plays a lot in their dime package here in the 2-minute drill, and has made a lot of big impact plays this year for a rookie.
Hurts. Lots of time. Plenty of time. Now on the move and throws this side. That is complete and outbound short of the 30-yard line is Gainwell. Kenny Young with the hit, and a flag is down.
Right on the edge, but By the letter of the law?
There is no foul on the play. It's a first down.
Does it do me any good to say I was going to argue with you?
Well, I'm surprised. But his foot was still in bounds when he made contact, so I'm a big fan of not calling the ticky-tack, Greg. I really am. And it was a good job by the officiating crew to pick that flag up.
It's a pretty hard hit for a ticky-tack.
But his foot was still in bounds.
Yeah. First down now from the 29-yard line, and Hurts to throw. That's complete. Devontae Smith. Smith pulled down short of the 40 by Pat Surtain. And that is one Alabama rookie tackling another.
Yeah, and they're still playing it pretty aggressive. And right now, Jalen Hurts is really dialed in on where to go with the football.
Hurts looking left, throwing left, and that is complete on the sideline. Catch is made just across midfield, and it's a first down. Rager pulling it in.
And this really exceptional, really nice routes by Rager. He snaps it back, but look at this under pressure. Shelby Harris is coming right up the gut, and Hurts just stands right there in the pocket and delivers just a perfect football. His accuracy in this game has just been out of sight, and his ball location. I know that he was really frustrated last week because he had a couple missed opportunities of some open wide receivers, but he really hasn't missed here against the Broncos in the first half.
On first down, that pass is complete. Inside the 40, inside the 35 goes Devontae Smith. Clock continues to move, 40 seconds to play in the first half. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Hurts, he's just going to keep taking that when he sees off and then there's nobody inside. That's an easy slant, easy throw, and he'll take that every time.
Hurts going to go deep down the far sideline, and it's incomplete. Hurts so far today, 15 out of 17 for 176 yards. Last week against the Chargers, he was 11 of 17 the entire game.
I thought he was supposed to scramble.
That's right. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and the coach will dissect the NFL scores and highlights today. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
And it almost looks like he's not even trying. If it's, well, he's had a lot of open receivers, but he's made a really big effort to throw the ball first and hasn't really needed to scramble outside of that big one earlier.
2nd and 10, 19 seconds on the clock, and the clock is moving. That pass is incomplete. Jack Stoll, the intended receiver. Remember, Dallas Goedert, their fine tight end, not available for the rest of this game with a head injury.
Well, it was a big down here, and for one of the rare times this year, or in this game, it's 3rd and long. And Vic Fangio's profile on 3rd down is to be heavy man-to-man, and he's been a heavy blitz coordinator on 3rd and long. Let's see if he does the same thing or if they kind of sit back and try and force Hurts to dump it off down low.
Well, first, Vic Fangio calls a timeout. So we will take a quick break and come back after this.
America! After the past year-ish, everyone deserves something new. So, AT&T is giving everyone our best deals on every iPhone, including the iPhone 13 Pro with its amazing camera. Like everyone that worked from home or welcomed a new family member.
They were all out of dogs.
Our deals are for everyone.
It's not complicated. AT&T is giving new and existing customers our best deals on every iPhone, including up to $800 off the Epic iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro.
15 seconds at all remains here in the first half. Eagles with a 7-point lead. The line of scrimmage is the Denver 34. And it's 3rd and 10.
Does not appear to be a pressure look, but could just be a good disguise.
They're going to go deep again, down the far sideline, end zone, and through the hands of Quez Watkins. That pass was on the money. On the money.
Oh, it sure was. That's Darby outside. Look how fast Watkins just runs right by him, and oh, that could have could have been the big one. Everything about that route was perfect except the finish by Watkins.
More 50-yard field goals made in this stadium than anywhere else. This is a 52-yard attempt by Jake Elliott. On its way. And add that one to the list. With 5 seconds to play in the first half, Elliott converts from 52 yards out. And the Eagles' lead is 10 at 20-10.
All right, I just imagine just the opportunity. If you hit that and you're able to go up 27-10 right before halftime, could you imagine? And it was all right there.
It was there.
And really, when you watch him all season, he has had a flair for the extraordinary catch. I mean, his degree of difficulty this season has been there, and it's just one of those plays, and he knows it, but I'm sure he's going to recover. But they've got to be really happy with the way he has played opposite Devontae Smith. Got a lot of speed at wide receiver.
Second season out of Southern Miss. Another kickoff that will result in a touchback. Hey, a reminder, Saturday, 3:30, another afternoon of the SEC on CBS. It should be a dandy. 25th-ranked Arkansas heads to Tuscaloosa to face second-ranked Alabama. We'll get you set for kickoff beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time with the drive to Atlanta, followed at 3 Eastern by college football today. And Saturday, the SEC is on CBS.
What did AJ tell us? There was, 47 NFL players on that Alabama team?
49, I think.
49. What do you think the over-under is on this team? 35, 30?
5 seconds on the clock. Let's see what Teddy Bridgewater has in mind. A short pass. This is Noah Fant, the tight end, and that will run us out of time here in the first half. What an entertaining first half it has been. It's the end of the first half with the score 20-10. The Eagles lead the Broncos. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it. You dunk it, doggy bone it, slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better. And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
We're at halftime. The Philadelphia Eagles with a 20-10 lead on the Denver Broncos. Let's take a look at our first half highlight presented by State Farm. And surprise, surprise, it involves Jalen Hurts. And it involves Devontae Smith with a great catch as the Eagles have taken a 10-point lead on the Denver Broncos. We welcome you back to Denver. Greg Gumbel along with Adam Archuleta. A Vic Fangio-coached Denver Broncos team has given up more yardage in one half than they have since he's been here. 270 yards in the first half. A lot of that is due to Jalen Hurts.
Well, to me, that is 100% the biggest story, is just how well Jalen Hurts has played. Just how his season has gone. It's been so up and down, so many roller coasters, but today is his finest half that I've seen from him. This time on the move, just at the last second hits Quez Watkins, and then he's going to just add in a nice 31-yard scramble, and then later on in the game, he's going to hit his favorite target on his second touchdown of the game. They have really just dissected Vic Fangio's defense. They've consistently beat man-to-man coverage. It's been a perfect first half for Philadelphia.
We mentioned this in the first half, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, Arch, that you're wondering when Jalen Hurts is going to take off and run so much. Meanwhile, he's dissecting the defense, throwing the football.
He has, and look, they've done a really good job just in an offense. I think you also have to credit Nick Sirianni, the way he's calling this game. They seem to be one step ahead of the Denver defense. Again, they have exploited man coverage almost the entire first half. And when the Broncos have brought pressure, You've also got to tip your cap to the offensive line because they have protected Hurts quite well.
We'll see what kind of a start Denver gets here in the second half. They will get their hands on the football first, but not on this kickoff. It'll sail through the end zone for the touchback. They'll start from the 25. We check in with A.J. Ross.
Well, Greg, Nick Sirianni pointed out the Eagles' balanced attack on offense in the first half. And yeah, he mentioned the run game, but his voice nearly cracked when I asked him about Jalen. With 176 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, Sirianni called Jalen's play to this point unbelievable and said the defense has to continue to get pressure on the inside and cut on their penalties. Denver, like you mentioned, has allowed 270 total yards, the most under Fangio. Fangio said they have to be more consistent and get more pressure on Jalen.
All right, AJ, thank you. Bridgewater starts with the quick pass to Noah Fant, the tight end, and that'll be good for a first down on the very first play here in the second half.
Well, really, the Denver offense really just hasn't had a chance to get going and get in rhythm. They, had the bad start in their first drive, and then the second drive they were able to drive right down the field using the run game. Their third drive was really, most of it was a big play to their tight end. And then Philadelphia really had done a nice job of getting off the field and putting them in third and long situations at the end of the quarter.
On first down, Javonte Williams in the backfield and play fake to him. Bridgewater with time, throwing over the middle, and he's got his man inside the 40, inside the 35 is Cortland Sutton. That's a first down, good for 21 yards.
It'd be nice to get Cortland Sutton going. He was pretty quiet last week, only 2 targets, and that one right there started up front with protection. Really an excellent job. Teddy Bridgewater had a clean pocket to throw from, and middle of the field right by that hash mark was wide open with a nice strike.
Boy, just like that, the Broncos are inside the 35-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Javonte Williams, this side of the field, can't escape the tackle made by Anthony Harris.
Well, look at this block. He's got the angle on the linebacker Edwards, and then once Barnett comes underneath, there's nobody home. And we started off the broadcast by saying that when Williams is in the game, you have got to be perfect on the edge. If you make one mistake, he is around the corner and out the gate.
2nd and 6. Williams again. Williams this time breaking free. 20, 15 to the 10-yard line. That's a 20-yard run.
I think he showed that in one-on-one situations, this time with Slay. I mean, that's his highlight tape all season long. His ability to break tackles well documented in college and in the NFL, and that is a tough tackle one-on-one from a cornerback. He will win that almost every time.
These Denver running backs break tackles, period. 1st and goal from the 10. Bridgewater throwing and incomplete. That one came in a hurry to Javonte Williams.
Oh, that was dangerous. TJ Edwards was all over that play. And either he was just going to crush Williams, or that was maybe a better pass. Edwards might have had a chance to pick it off.
As it is 2nd and goal.
I would have thought that coming into this game that Noah Fant should have a pretty good game because the Eagles have really struggled against tight ends this season.
Here's Williams, and Williams is wrapped up almost immediately by Fletcher Cox. All 6'4", 310 pounds of Fletcher Cox. So here's 3rd and goal. Bridgewater over the middle. That's complete. Inside the 5 goes Williams, and it'll be 4th and goal from just inside the 5-yard line. And they will bring the field goal unit onto the field.
Oh, that's really good defense, and that was really set up. If there's one trend for Philadelphia, getting off the field, at least in this game, it's making the one negative play for either no gain or negative yards. And that time it was set up by Fletcher Cox, which put them in a situation where you force the dump off and you come up and make a really nice tackle in the open field. And they forced the field goal. Really nicely done by Avonte Maddox inside.
Brandon McManus has been good from 21. This one will be from 22 yards out. Here's the kick. There's the block. Kayvon Wallace. And it keeps the Broncos off the board here. Salute to Service is the NFL's year-round effort to honor, empower, and connect our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Learn about the NFL's work with its long-standing military and veteran nonprofit partners by visiting NFL.com/salute. During halftime, the Leapfrogs Navy parachute team dropped down onto the field. They're part of the United States Naval Special Warfare Command, made up of active-duty Navy SEALs, Special Warfare Combatant Craft crewmen, and support personnel. They are great. Philadelphia takes over at their own 10-yard line off the blocked field goal. Eagles with a 10-point lead in the football. Hurts running out of room on that side of the field, coming back this way and caught from behind by Jonathan Cooper. Let's go down to A.J. Ross.
Well, Greg, also in connection to Salute to Service, I had the chance to talk with Vic Fangio about his daughter, Cassie, who is an Army nurse in San Antonio. She actually came to the Broncos game last week in Dallas, and she's been serving for 2.5 years. And Coach Fangio says she's doing a great job, and he's very proud of her. So, of course, thank you, Cassie, for your service.
A.J., I was going to say, how Vic can be gruff and abrupt, but how proud was he talking about his daughter?
Proud, so very proud.
2nd and 11. Hurts, short pass, going nowhere. Jack Stoll with the reception and hit almost immediately by Kenny Young. You talked about Kenny Young at the beginning of the day. He brings the hammer.
He does, and this is only his 3rd game as a Bronco. Was a 7-game starter with the Rams. He is fast and athletic and has really lit a fire on this defense. You see on that last play, Vic Fangio went to more zone. Again, I've been talking about their inability to cover with man-to-man. So on 3rd and long, will he stick with what he's done, or will they drop back and try and get Hurts to dump it off?
Hurts has been great on 3rd down. With time, throwing, and that is almost intercepted. It falls incomplete. Pat Surtain comes down, feels he should have held on, intended for Devontae Smith.
Oh, it doesn't get any better. This time it's zone. Surtain is supposed to play deep to short, and he just reads the eyes of Hurts. Hurts is going to try and fit that in right between Justin Simmons and Surtain, and they are very fortunate right there that Surtain wasn't able to pick up that ball. Dangerous pass, but Broncos going to zone coverage on that 3rd down.
Hurts has only thrown 4 interceptions this season. Deontay Spencer at the 37. Trying to follow some blocking around the right side. He makes the turn across midfield and out of bounds. Fine return by Deontay Spencer. 9:01 to play in the 3rd. Let's see if the Broncos get a lift from that after the fine defensive stand. And now this Salute to Service moment presented by USAA. Broncos tight end Andrew Beck recently toured Freedom Service Dogs, an organization that helps veterans and active duty military personnel find new levels of confidence and independence with the help of specially trained service dogs. And towards the end of his visit,
that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Beck found that he was the Broncos' 2021 Salute to Service Award nominee. Congratulations to 83. Andrew Beck in his 3rd year out of Texas. And here are the Broncos at the Philadelphia 45. Melvin Gordon with the handoff inside the 40 before he is wrapped up at about the 38-yard line by T.J. Edwards. Pick up of about 7 or 8. It's going to be second and short yardage.
Well, Broncos have shown that they do have the ability to drive down the field. And really where Philadelphia has done much better than they have this season is in their situational aspect of their defense, namely on 3rd down and inside the red zone.
2nd and 2, they'll look to Gordon to get the first down. He does, and more, inside the 30-yard line to the 29. And once again, the Broncos right back knocking on the door.
Well, Quinn Miners, he's able to get up to that next level, and that's because on the outside, Cameron Fleming just does a wonderful job of getting inside position, and that's what leads to the crease for Gordon to just hit it up inside. So, Mike Shula really going to that running game here on this drive.
Gordon again for a couple. Now, we started this day, one of the talking points was the question of how this offensive line would perform, missing its 2 starting tackles. To this point, they've done pretty well.
I would say that, yes, they have done pretty well. Now, you have seen a little pressure, and the very few times that Philadelphia has gotten pressure, it's led to a 3rd and long or the ability for them to get off the field. So being able to get pressure on Bridgewater is still one of the keys up front for that Philadelphia defensive line.
This is 2nd and 9. Bridgewater throwing. That's complete to the 20-yard line. Hit almost immediately is Jerry Jeudy. And that is, let's see if that's enough for a first down. No, just about a yard shy.
Well, this is what I was alluding to earlier. In this game, Denver is 1 of 5 on 3rd down. And really, that's been the big story. And Philadelphia has just done a really good job of being able to get off the field, but that has been a lot of 3rd and long situations.
This is Javonte Williams turning the corner. 10, 5, touchdown, Denver. We have a penalty marker down.
Holding. Offense, number 82. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
The holding call is on Eric Saubert, the tight end.
Yeah, right on the edge. And initially, I thought that was really a nice block by Saubert. We're going to have to... Yeah, you can see Saubert has a fistful of jersey right there. So, yeah, that is a good call. That is really a fine eye by that official to throw that flag, but it is the correct call.
So that touchdown comes off the board. It is 3rd and 7. Bridgewater with time, running out of time now, and the quick pass is complete. Albert O with the catch. And let's see, we have another flag.
Oh, I think it's going to be Barnett roughing the passer. And that's a big one. And Barnett, well documented. Watch, he's going to come off of that right side. Really nice spin move. And he's going to hit Teddy Bridgewater right underneath the chin.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 96. The penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. And an automatic first down.
The man in the stripes giveth and he taketh away.
And listen, that's a tough play because it's a big down. It's 3rd down. You're trying to come with your best rush. And you think that you're doing all you can to lower your target and hit Bridgewater in the strike zone. But the top of your helmet kind of just clips him underneath the chin. It's a tough break for Barnett, who has just had the untimely bad luck with big penalties in his career.
The ball just outside the 10-yard line. Bridgewater pulls it down, now throws incomplete. Intended for Sutton. Bridgewater barely escaped the rush and throws the incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
And it's really nice to see, Fletcher Cox really get in on the action. And, of course, one of the guys that has been pretty vocal about the defense and how they played this year. He was really a non-factor last week, but he's made a couple really nice rushes in this game to force some bad passes of Bridgewater.
2nd and 10. Javonte Williams ducks it inside to the 5. And we have another penalty marker. 2 penalty markers down on the far side. It is suddenly raining flags.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 85. This 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
It's Albert O.
This is going to be at the end of the run right there. And once again, that I know the Broncos and Williams don't want to hear it, but that was a good call.
So now the Broncos look at 2nd and 20 from just outside the 20-yard line. Bridgewater throwing this side and overthrew Melvin Gordon coming out of the backfield. 3rd and 20.
I know there's been a lot of flags on this drive. 1 going against Philadelphia, 2 going against Denver. But really the trend has been pretty constant, and that's Denver looking really good from the 20 to the 20. But once they get inside, I think really it's been Philadelphia's ability to force them in those 3rd and long situations, get off the field and force the field goal attempt. And that's just something that you haven't seen consistently from this Philadelphia defense this year.
Here's Bridgewater on the move, got rid of it. And this is Noah Fant to the 10. And that'll leave them with a 4th and 10, and here comes the field goal unit.
Oh, Greg, that's one thing that Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator, talked to us about when we brought up the fact that they've been giving up a lot of easy completions to quarterbacks, and that completion percentage has been so high against his defense. And he pointed out correctly that if they just do a better job situationally and get off the field, then those numbers aren't going to look as dramatic and it won't be as big of a deal, and that has been the case today.
So here's McManus from 28 yards, and the kick is good. 4 minutes, 51 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. Denver pulls to within a touchdown, 20-13 Eagles. .451 to play here in the 3rd at Empower Field at Mile High in Denver, Colorado. Entertaining football game, to say the least.
Yeah.
A little back and forth. Nick Sirianni's Philadelphia Eagles, Vic Fangio's Denver Broncos. Jalen Reagor at his goal line. And will not return. This one will start from the 25-yard line. Early on today, how about some headlines? How about Mac Jones and those New England Patriots who are on a big roll? 3 TD passes for Jones. They cruised against the Browns. The Tennessee Titans have won 6 in a row. They knock off the New Orleans Saints. Washington lost Chase Young. We don't know how seriously, but they knock off Tampa Bay. And the Detroit Lions still winless. They tie the Steelers. And from the 25-yard line. This is Jordan Howard, and Howard for a couple. Nice to see. As you take a look at some of the things that some of the quarterbacks did, the Washington football team, such inept leadership for so long. I think the best thing they've done in a long time is hire Ron Rivera as their head coach. Since the days of Joe Gibbs, a couple of years in there of Mike Shanahan, but really hadn't done very much right for a long time.
There's Jordan Howard. He's going off the field. I would think that at this point in the game, Jalen Hurts is really throwing the ball quite well. This is really where you want your run game to really start to take some of that pressure off and get some of those positive yards.
On 2nd and 5, Boston Scott. Scott breaking free. 40. Out of bounds. Just across midfield. Time for an update. James Brown, Coach Bill Cowher in New York.
Coach, you said it's a matter of principle?
Yeah, after being stuffed twice, Dalvin Cook on 4th and 1. Kirk Cousins finds Tyler Conklin in the back of the end zone. And the Minnesota Vikings take the lead back over the LA Chargers, 20-17.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. Quick look at the NFC North standings. This one's going to get wrapped up 4. Reaching the 50-yard line, Malik Reed, Kenny Young with the stop.
Outside of that 31-yard scramble by Hurts, I've been really impressed by the edge players for Denver, both Jonathan Cooper and then that time Malik Reed. Cooper has been doing a really good job to his side, stopping that quarterback run and that keeper by Hurts. That time they try and test Malik Reed, and he's all over it. So really they have done a excellent job stopping that quarterback run from Jalen Hurts.
Here's an interesting moment now for the Denver defense. 2nd and 12. Hurts under pressure, gotten rid of it, intercepted. Coming back up the sideline is Justin Simmons. Simmons' 4th interception of the season. 3:03 to play. And the momentum shifts back to the Denver Broncos.
Sports and NFL apps.
Welcome back. That offensive juggernaut by the Philadelphia Eagles from the first half has not carried over to the third quarter. For Jalen Hurts, his first interception since week 6 against Tampa Bay. Melvin Gordon in the backfield with Bridgewater. Bridgewater, quick pop over the middle. Noah Fant with the catch. Let's go back to the pick.
Well, here's really the first mistake of the day by Hurts. First, you get great pressure by Shelby Harris, and he might have got his hand on, but then I want you to watch Justin Simmons, his footwork, and how he just reads the eyes of Hurts. He makes a great break on the football, and because of the pressure, Hurts has to short arm it, tries to force it in there, and Justin Simmons makes him pay for that mistake. So that is the perfect example of putting together the rush and the coverage on the back end.
On 2nd and 4, Bridgewater fires a bullet over the middle, and that's complete to Fant. And Noah Fant makes the catch for the first down. That one's good for 15 yards.
Bridgewater really working his tight ends in this game. Cortland Sutton has only had 2 targets. Judy's had about 4 targets. And that time, Fant runs a terrific route getting into the inside and a perfect strike with timing from Bridgewater.
1:50 to play here in the third.
But for a football team that has 3 excellent wide receivers, one of the better wide receiving cores, they really haven't been a factor in this game.
That quick pass, and that's complete. Or no, incomplete. Judy could not hold on. Yeah, Cortland Sutton with 1 catch today. Jerry Judy with 3. Patrick with 1.
And this is really the second week in a row that Cortland Sutton, who is really their best wide receiver, the #1 target for Teddy Bridgewater, he has been awfully quiet. I mentioned that he only had 2 targets last week, and another quiet game here today.
They'll hand it off to Gordon, and Melvin Gordon nowhere to go.
And Greg, they really, they've done a good job, as I mentioned, going from 20 to 20. And so there hasn't really been a big need for it, but Bridgewater has only thrown 2 passes over 10 yards today, so everything has been underneath.
.65 seconds to play here in the third. Bridgewater looking at a 3rd and 8.
Watch Judy coming back across on a crossing route to the other side of the field.
Bridgewater throws, that one's to the outside, and that's complete. And diving for the first down is Tim Patrick, but he is short. And what does Vic Fangio do here?
Well, I think this is one of those situations where you've got to think about going for it.
And he is.
They have been pretty successful today running the football. You really haven't seen Philadelphia get a lot of penetration or many stuffs at the line of scrimmage.
Denver, 77% on 4th down this season, 10 out of 13. Melvin Gordon, straight ahead.
Oh, the ball's out.
Coming out of there with the football is Darius Slay. Slay on the move to the outside. Blockers in front of him. Slay all by himself down the field.
Davion Taylor comes in. He gets that ball out, I believe, before Gordon hits the ground, and then Darius Slay picks it up, goes the other way. What a play.
That will be the question. Where was Gordon when that ball came loose?
There was a lot of bodies, and so the question is going to be, was he on top of the pile before his knee was able to hit the ground? Again, just a terrific effort by Davion Taylor.
It has been confirmed a touchdown for the Eagles, and Slay's return is 82 yards. What a sudden turnaround. Jake Elliott for the extra point. And it is good. The end of the third quarter. Philadelphia with a 27-13 lead. Darius Slay in Eagles heaven. Along with our producer, Jonathan Siegel, our director, Mark Grant, Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, A.J. Ross, we go to the fourth. Off of a stunning 82-yard fumble return by Darius Slay, the Eagles with a 27-13 lead. Deontay Spencer will not get a hand on this one. They'll start at the 25. Gene Steratore joins us. Pretty quick decision on whether this was a legitimate fumble or not, Gene.
Yeah, I think they got a pretty good look early, Greg, to see the ball coming out very quickly. And then I think what you look for next is, does anyone possess this football from the defensive side with their body part down or a knee down? We can see Surtain picks it up very cleanly, and he's on his feet away from everyone, and it continues on. From an officiating standpoint on the field, a lot of anxiety when that many bodies are pulled in there and you just can't find the football. So it bounces out and makes it a little easier for the refs as well.
Well, initially I thought, looking at it live, that the ball came out a lot later, but with that angle it was clear. And I mentioned Davion Taylor, just that effort is just incredible. And Darius Slay, a little hungry to rebound from last week with a big one.
Hey, Gene, thank you very much. Meanwhile, there's an injured Eagle being helped off the floor. And Teddy Bridgewater did not make an attempt to cut down Slay as he went by.
Yeah, it looks like he could have, but also remember that we were doing the Remember it was the Cleveland game where Baker Mayfield tried to make a tackle on an interception and it ended up separating his left shoulder. Yes. So
that, by the way, was tight end J.J. Arcega-Whiteside being helped off the field. First down now from the 25-yard line for the Broncos, who trail by 2 touchdowns. Bridgewater's pass complete. And that is Judy to about the 30-yard line. Well, points scored. The Eagles are great in the fourth quarter. Points allowed. The Broncos are great in the fourth quarter.
Well, now the Broncos, they have to be excellent in scoring points in this fourth quarter. And this is the part of the game where now the offense has to open up and the receivers have to get more involved downfield.
Bridgewater under pressure, throws to the near side, and that is grabbed by Javonte Williams. I'd have been better off letting that one fall incomplete, although that was close to being a backwards pass.
Yeah, and once again, more pressure inside from Philadelphia. And you know one thing, that when you play the Denver Broncos, Bridgewater is going to hang in the pocket for a long time. He has no reservations about holding it. Sometimes he holds it too long and he takes some unnecessary sacks. But once again, there's nothing open downfield. You've really got to credit Philadelphia's defense, and they've done a great job all year in the deep passing game. It's been the underneath stuff where they've had problems, but there has been nothing open past 10 yards for Bridgewater to get the ball to, and that's where they need to go.
Denver 1 out of 7 on third downs today. He has time, and he's going to go deep, and he has a man wide open, but way overthrown. Jerry Jeudy.
They had it a beautiful out and up, and I'm not sure. I mean, Jeudy, he's easily is right there, and that ball isn't even in the frame. Bridgewater overthrew that by about 10 yards.
Well, it looks like Jeudy went out and didn't complete the up part until the ball was in the air.
It's very astute observation, Greg.
Hey, got my glasses on. 4th and 14. And Rigg with the fair catch at about the 35-yard line. 13 minutes, 33 seconds remaining to be played. The Eagles with the ball and a 27-13 lead. Coming back to Denver after this. Quick look at some standings. Philadelphia and everybody else in the NFC East looking up at Dallas, but in the AFC West, the Chargers trailing at this moment against Minnesota. The Chiefs and the Raiders play tonight. This is Jordan Howard. Howard with a hole on the left side. 40, 45, midfield. Malik Reed making the stop after a 15-yard gain and a first down.
Well, this was just a terrific block by Jack Stoll, the rookie out of Nebraska. He's going to combination block and then just be able to get up on Kenny Young at the last moment. I mentioned before that last drive that this is the part of the game, if you're Philadelphia now, in the second half with the lead, is when you really want that running game to come alive. They really didn't need it much in that first half, but you saw a big run by Boston Scott, and then that time Jordan Howard is able to get loose in that defensive backfield.
They'll keep it on the ground with Howard, and Howard to the 45. Update time once again in New York City. James Brown, Coach Bill Cowher. Take it away.
Finally, a touchdown.
Yeah, in this defensive battle, A.J. Dillon's going to will himself into the end zone from 3 yards out. 11 plays, 62-yard drive. Green Bay now leads 10-0.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
Some pretty horrible weather earlier there in that game. Unless, of course, you had your skis with you or your snowboard. You travel with a snowboard, don't you?
Yeah, you never know when there's going to be a
snowboard expo.
Fresh little, snowboard expo, or especially when I'm in this part of the country.
That's Landon Dickerson, the rookie out of Alabama, being looked at on the field.
Another reason why you've seen a little bit of a resurgence here by the Eagles offense is that their offensive line is starting to come back together and they're starting to play healthy. Lane Johnson missed 3 games. Brandon Brooks, he's been out since week 2. But they've been able to play together now and string a few for a couple of games, and that certainly has led for their production in the run game.
And it is going to figure big here in the fourth quarter for the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming up on 12:15 to play. Plenty of time, 2nd and 5. Howard, 30, 25, 20. First down, Eagles. Another big gainer. This one worth 25 yards.
And this time they just caught him in a blitz, and there was nobody there. Linebackers come up. There's nobody home. Fuller, he's coming outside, and that to me is just about the perfect play call. Run it right into the blitz, pull the backside, and there's nobody home to tackle Jordan Howard. And right now, the Philadelphia run game is really starting to come to life as they try to close this out in the fourth quarter.
How about that stat? 3 rushers with 40 or more yards in 3 straight games. Hurts with the keeper and slides down just inside the 20-yard line. Jonathan Cooper helping him to the mat.
And really, again, we've mentioned it over and over again. That time, Jonathan Cooper, really well done one more time. Last week, Hurts had 66 yards. Had a huge fourth quarter scrambling, but that has not been the story today. It hasn't been about Hurts and his scrambling or his running ability. It's been him as a passer, and then now here in the second half, the running game up front, the offensive line blocking, and Jordan Howard again seeing a lot of success running up inside.
2nd and 9. This is Boston Scott. Dodges a tackle at the line of scrimmage and works his way to about the 12-yard line. Justin Simmons with the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Well, how important is this 3rd down? Right now, you're down by 14. You really haven't been able to stop Philadelphia. In the first half, it was more so the passing game, and here now in the fourth quarter, it's the running game. But if Vic Fangio wants to get this Broncos football team back inside, this is where somebody has to step up and really make a big play.
Hurts looking for a way around on the outside, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 10. And that is enough for a first down.
The one time when they needed it, and they've done a really, really nice job. You see Malik Reed is out there, but there was just the ever so slightest block by the wide receiver, and that took away the angle that Reed had, and Hurts is just going to be able to outrun him to the sideline.
Well, this will take a little bit of the joy out of the play. That is all-pro center Jason Kelce on the turf.
Yep, that is the most important person on that offensive line for Philadelphia, and just doesn't really get any better than his play.
And looks like Jason will get to his feet. That's good news. We'll take a quick break. 1st and goal when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Jardians. And by Gap.
Nate Herbig has replaced Jason Kelce at center for the Philadelphia Eagles, who have rushed for 181 yards so far today, starting this week.
Yeah, 3rd week in a row, Greg, that they've gone over 175 yards. Impressive.
And the Broncos came into this game allowing 98 yards a game on the ground. Howard in the backfield. Low snap, picked up by Hurts. Hurts on his way around the right side and slides down just inside the 10. So Herbig's first snap was a ground ball to short.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been a disaster, but Well, credit Jalen Hurts for being able to pick it up and try to make the most out of it.
And maybe not so coincidentally, Jason Kelce is back onto the field.
Which is a great sign. Again, it doesn't get any more important than that guy up front in the middle of all of it. And
second and goal from the 9. High snap, but this is Howard, and Howard to about the 7th. You know, you alluded to it earlier, Arch, that what a luxury it is when you've got a ground game that you can rely on this time of the game.
It is, and they kind of stumbled upon it, 3 weeks ago. This has been kind of their formula. It's not only had the benefit of taking pressure off of Hurts in the passing game, not having him throw it so many times, but it also, in my opinion, has brought out the best in Jalen Hurts. But this one right here is a big one for both teams.
Third and goal from the 6.
Denver has not been able in any way, shape, or form to consistently stop the Eagles on third down in this game.
And Philadelphia is going to take a timeout, use their first here in the second half. While we pause for that, Inside the NFL now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Get expert insight and exclusive commentary from the hardest hitting team in the game, including James Brown, Phil Simms, Brandon Marshall, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, and Julian Edelman. Stream new episodes of the Emmy Award-winning series Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, if you are the Denver Broncos, you've got to make a stop here.
You do, and if you're Philadelphia, and if you're Jalen Hurts, do not force anything. A field goal, of course you'd love to score, but a field goal will do just fine. You've got a 14-point lead right now. Making it 17 is much better than doing something careless and giving the ball back to the Broncos and getting no points.
The give is to Howard, and Howard going to be held up at the 5-yard line. Jonathan Cooper, who has made several big plays for this Broncos defense today.
Well, you're right. He has really come to play. Of course, getting an opportunity with no Von Miller. It didn't really feel like he would have played as much as he has this year, but he has blew away expectations and has made some big plays in the playing time, the playing time that he's had in the last 3 games.
Here's Jake Elliott off of the Denver timeout. Jake Elliott has been good from 30 and from 52 yards. This will be a 23-yard attempt, looking to give the Eagles a 17-point lead. That kick is good. 7:36 to play here in the fourth, and Philadelphia's lead is now 30-13. Next Sunday, Week 11 of the NFL on CBS. Plenty of games with plenty of implications for the playoffs, including Lamar Jackson leading the Ravens against the Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals battling the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll get you ready for all of the action at noon Eastern Time with JB and the usual suspects on the NFL Today. That's all next Sunday here on CBS. Well, how much do you dedicate to the air game here if you're the Denver Broncos and if you're the Eagles, you're pretty sure what's coming?
All of it, and expect the safeties to play deep. And this is where it's okay if you're Jonathan Gannon and you give a high completion percentage, granted that everything's under 10 yards. Come up, make the sure tackle, don't allow any yards after the catch, and bleed as much clock as possible.
Boy, Cortland Sutton, 1 catch today. Jerry Jeudy, 4. Tim Patrick, 2. And we'll start from the 25. We go down to AJ.
Well, Greg, from one defensive guy to another, Eagles D coordinator Jonathan Gannon says he has nothing but respect and admiration for Vic Fangio. And he even admitted to me that he always studied Fangio in the offseason because Fangio always has top 10 defenses. No matter where he's been or whatever talent he's had such an impact on the game. And for Gannon, he says the correct way to play D is something he learned through watching Fangio from afar.
Yeah, you're right. Nothing but praise from Coach Gannon. Bridgewater, with time, throwing into the dirt, incomplete. Tim Patrick, the closest receiver, 2nd and 10.
Well, Greg, I know you just mentioned it just a moment ago, just the wide receivers, how little they've been involved, but you've also got to give a lot of credit over on the Philadelphia side for Steven Nelson and Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox. They really haven't given up anything whatsoever to these outside receivers, and as a whole, the entire secondary really has played well today.
2nd and 10 for Bridgewater, and that short pass is complete, and going nowhere is Patrick. Upended immediately after the catch by Avonte Maddox.
Watching tape also, the guy that really stood out, who I think is playing pretty fast out there, is Maddox. Somebody is hurt. Looks like one of the Eagles is down.
At about the 16-yard line. We'll see if we can identify as soon as we can.
I think that's Fletcher Cox.
It is Fletcher Cox. Impact on that right arm and shoulder.
You know what? It looks like something happened before he fell to the ground, quite honestly, but good to see him jogging off the field. I think he had a really impactful game today, had some good pressure up inside, and if they can get this defensive front to consistently get going, both with him and Hargrave and Barnett off the edge. Josh Sweat has played some pretty good football, but this defensive line on paper should be pretty good and should be dominant up front.
Here's a 3rd and 10. Bridgewater under pressure, trying to spin out of it and throws it away. Alex Singleton, number 49, helping apply some pressure with Milton Williams.
Yeah, Barnett's going to come off the edge here, and then Singleton is going to wrap all the way around. I mean, that is a long developing game. Lining up all the way on one side, wrapping around, and there just has been no answer. For all the criticism that this defense has taken, they have come to play. And Jonathan Gannon really felt like, everybody kind of says this, especially his secondary, felt like they had a chip on their shoulder and expected them to come out here and play well. Absolutely, that has been the case.
Jalen Rager from his own 23. Jigs and jags across the 32, about the 32 or the 33-yard line. So with 6:49 to play here in the fourth, the Philadelphia Eagles are looking pretty good.
Well, you would have to say, and they really felt like, Detroit, they played really well. Last week they did some really good things, but they just couldn't finish in the fourth quarter. So much has been said about them kind of shifting their identity, going to more multiple tight end sets, going more to the running game, opening up the play action opportunities to Hurts and not having him drop back so much, 30 and 35 and 40 times a game. That does seem to be the magic recipe. And if they can continue to play complementary football, then they can do some pretty good things.
This is Scott, and Scott running off the left side. Landon Dickerson, the rookie left tackle or left guard, is back in the lineup. You look at the Eagles on the road this season, looking to go 4-2.
I think the big difference, and especially watching this game, is just how many times their defense has been able to step up and make a play in those critical situations on third down, and really their play in the red zone. And even when they did turn the ball over with Justin Simmons, he got that interception. on that fourth down play that looked like it was going to go Denver's way, Davion Taylor goes in there and makes a huge strip on fourth down. So, they've had some pretty good individual efforts in the critical situations today.
For the 11th straight time, they run the football and ducking inside or across the 40 to about the 40. Well, let's see, they'll mark him at the 40-yard line. That'll be a couple yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2. Well, you can make a plan for what you want to do, but when you run the football as well as the Eagles have done it, it's easy to stick to it.
Yep, and wasn't the case in the first half. It was all passing. And here in the second half, when Philadelphia has had a lead, they've been able to do it with a strong running game. This time, empty formation. Always look for Hurts to carry the ball.
Hurts looking for a block, diving for the first down, and he looks like he's going to be marked short. At least from where the official is lining it up.
See Hurts trying to pick his spot, but more importantly is that ball security, which, after last season, that probably was the #1 thing that he had to work on with all the fumbles that he had last year and just about 30% of the snaps. Fumbled 7 times. He has really done a nice job in ball security, taking care of the football. He did throw an interception today, but he has really done a nice job in that part of his game.
So the punting unit is on 4th and 1. So Nick Sirianni had the challenge flag in his hand and has decided not to throw it. Now he throws it. He's going to challenge the spot. And what Sirianni did was let a few seconds tick off the clock before he dropped that flag.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was short of the line to gain.
Yeah, I think he's short.
You see the line and you see where he goes down. And yeah. But Coach Sirianni feels that challenge flag isn't going to do him any good in the locker room.
You're right. Good point. I think he's really called a good game today.
Executed pretty well by number 1 there.
Yep, and when we talk to him, just the importance of just how long it takes.
Ruling on the field stands as called. It's 4th down. Philadelphia is charged a timeout and is used to challenge. Philadelphia has 1 timeout remaining.
Greg, just how long it takes to try and figure out your personnel and what they do well. You'd love it to be immediate, but he admittedly said it took a lot of time for them to kind of figure it out. And I still think they are working through some of that, but the results, especially here in the last 3 games, I feel speak for themselves.
On 4th and 1, they'll kick it away to Deontay Spencer. Spencer, fair catch called for and made at the 12. First time a challenge by Sirianni hasn't worked. It was funny when I asked him, well, how do you prepare for a team like the Broncos that won their first 3, lost their last 4, or the next 4, and then won their last 2? What do you believe when you're watching tape? And he paused. He goes, that's a really good question. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
And for the Broncos, it really, after last week in Dallas, it just looked like the sky was the limit. They won against teams that weren't so good, lost against teams that were good. Last week was just so dominant against one of the best teams in the NFL. They really got to be disappointed with how they came out and played this game.
Bridgewater over the middle, that is complete. And across the 25 is Judy, and loose ball. Covered by Albert O. Also kind of fun asking the players if they know how to pronounce Albert O's last name. They don't.
I think I'm pretty good at it. I don't know if I've had to say it today, but
you've dodged that bullet very well. Darius Slay is on the turf for the Eagles on the far side of the field. He of the 82-yard fumble return for a touchdown. So go ahead. You can say it.
Oku Ebunam. Yes. It's pretty good.
Not bad. Our producer, Jonathan Siegel, says, yeah, just like it's spelled. .352 on the clock. Bridgewater, quick pass across the 35 to the 38-yard line is Alberto. And this Denver offense has not had quite the same crispness that it had in the first half.
Well, you know, one thing that, and even Teddy Bridgewater, you know, spoke about it, something they wish they had more of last week was just the explosive plays.
This one going deep down the sideline. It is incomplete, and penalty markers fly all over the place. Steven Nelson covering Cortland Sutton.
See, to me, if you have a guy like Cortland Sutton, you've got to take at least 3 shots like this.
Defense number 3. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Just to keep the other guys loose.
Just, well, because he's so good at it. He's one of the top deep receivers in the National Football League. And when he's one-on-one out there by himself, I think that you have to go out there and challenge any corner, because chances are that Sutton's going to be able to come down with the ball. But the explosive plays really are the key to their offense, and not 40-yard bombs down the field, but just plays that are over 16 yards. They really haven't attempted any today.
That was a completion inside the 15 to about the 13 to Jerry Jeudy. And the clock continues to move. 3:05 to play in the fourth.
But even having said that, Greg, to me it also comes down to red zone offense. Philadelphia has played really, really well, and I think it's because their defense in this part of the field is why the Broncos only sit here with 13 points.
That pass is incomplete, intended for Noah Fant and T.J. Edwards, who has been all over the field for the Eagle defense, making the stop. A look at the AFC West.
Wow. I mean, it's probably going to end up being the most competitive division in football to see who ends up winning this. You know, the Chargers looked so good and almost unstoppable early in the first half of the year, but they looked like they're mortals. And one more time, you would love to have capitalized on that Dallas win, especially here at home with the team that is really trying to find their identity.
That pass is complete. Bridgewater to Sutton. And the clock continues to move. It'll be third down at about 7.
And it's the third and long riddle that Denver just has not been able to solve today here on third downs. Philadelphia's defense, 1 of 10.
To the end zone. Overthrowing everybody. Sutton was there, but covered well by McPherson. So it'll be 4th and 7. And this crowd, which was psyched early on, and probably still living off of that last week win over the Dallas Cowboys.
There was a lot of buzz. A lot of buzz going on. The defense was playing well. The offense was starting to get healthy, and then today happened.
They need the 3-yard line for a first down. Bridgewater pulls it down a couple of times, now breaks loose. Rolling this way, directing traffic, throwing back of the end zone, and overthrows his intended receiver, Tim Patrick. And that will definitely seal it for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and it looks like, you know, they had the opportunity. Patrick, you're going to watch him stop an over-pursuing Eagles secondary, and he's there, but Bridgewater just throws it over his head. And, you know, Bridgewater, who is usually pretty consistent, doesn't always take a lot of chances down the field, but he is extremely accurate and makes good decisions in the short and the intermediate passing game. This has not been one of his better football games, and has missed on some opportunities that were uncharacteristic of his game.
You know, in the hotel lobby this morning, we saw a bunch of Philadelphia Eagles fans, and they were consistently saying, "Be kind to us today," because you guys have been pretty kind to yourselves. One play ought to get us to the 2-minute warning. This is Scott, and Scott turning the corner, 20, 25, 30, staying in bounds. And that will get us to the 2-minute warning with 1:57 to play. It's going to be a happy plane ride home for these Philadelphia Eagles. 30-13.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. And by Crown Royal. Join us at kickoff with crown.com.
Well, some happy Philadelphia Eagles fans. Fly indeed. They did today.
Boy, did they.
Hurts takes a knee. They ran the ball, and they ran it well.
Well, 115 yards in the second half, and this is a first half scramble by Hurts, 31 yards. That was his biggest contribution, but it's really been the Jordan Howard and Boston Scott show, both running backs with 12 and 11 carries respectively, and about 83 yards, and run for 217 yards today, Greg.
It's so good on the ground. Jalen Hurts really didn't have to throw in the second half.
Well, that's what's amazing, because you look at Hurts' numbers, 178 yards, and you think, oh, you know, that was an okay game, you know, nothing spectacular. But he's only thrown 3 passes in the second half.
And only completed one of them.
And only one in an interception. But that, don't let that number fool you. He was exceptional in the first half, and the running game took over here in the second.
Philadelphia is going to improve to 4-6 on the season, while Denver falls to 5-5. And the Chiefs could join them, depending on what happens tonight against the Raiders. 3rd and 12. And we come up on the last play of the day. Hey, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and never before seen film of the Beatles. Then don't miss the concert of a lifetime, Adele, one night only, including an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey, followed by CSI Vegas. That is tonight on CBS. As I said, a happy plane ride home for the Philadelphia Eagles, who come into Denver and knock off the Denver Broncos convincingly, Arch.
Yes, and you can say that for Philadelphia, what they did today is really what the Broncos did to Dallas last week. It was a complete performance on both sides of the football.
30-13 for Adam and AJ and the rest of us. I'm Greg Gumbel to JB in New York.